All right, we're here with Alexander Anderson.
Yo,
No minor one.
no major one. We playing devil's advocate in this piece. I came in here to clap for everybody who's been clapping in the comments, going back and forth. I'm here riding for all y'all, man. Stand up.
Hey, dude, by the end of this, I'm going to officially have converted him.
We're in
Solid.
the building.
Solid to no minor one. Glory. Let it into your heart.
Hey.
What's up, man?
You can't convert a prophet, man. You can't convert a prophet, man. The prophet is on a mission.
Oh, man, that shit's great.
Man, it's good to be here, man. I want to just thank everybody for who's been tuning in and tapped into the revolution, the movement. You know what I mean?
So we were chatting about this last night at the gig. What does it look like from the outside looking in? Because to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So I was telling you about if I didn't know you personally, how I would essentially just think you're an asshole, and if I didn't know you personally from way before, I would think like, okay,
Really?
this guy's just a troll.
That's what I've been getting a lot. So it's like, I don't mean to be if I am, which is what's kind of funny and interesting because it's like I feel like everyone else is being a troll and like trying to like.
I feel like sometimes people will come at you with genuinely good. I guess I wouldn't say like maybe a good point, but a different, like a valid perspective, and you'll just kind of shit all over and be like, all I hear you saying is no minor one, glory.
Is that trolling?
I think it can be a little dismissive. That's what I will say. I think it can be dismissive if people don't know, because
I get, yeah.
Some people they're new to all this,
right?
They don't know you've been in the trenches for a year and a half,
dude.
In the trenches going back and forth. So they're just walking in like people don't know they're walking into a minefield. They're walking in, you going on this? Oh, you about to be in a story? You about to be having gang people reading your comments, and if you dare respond to that, it's gonna elevate. People don't even know what they're walking into.
Honestly, man, I'm not trying to be a troll, and like I am genuinely like curious on this stuff, and so just I will say though, like if you come in hot right off the bat with like if you come in hot on the comments, just kind of talking shit, like I will come at you a little bit, just because it's like, yo, no one's making you have to watch these things. Like,
well, look, man, at the end of the day, I think it's smart. Like, you know, I think I don't want to just look at it in this way, but I think it's good for engagement. You know, I was talking to you about how I think you're one of the only people I know who are making their comments like I'm reading like paragraphs of comments
right
in your stories, like, and no one else I even think to do that typically. You know, so I've
had a lot of people tell me that, like, yo, I'm watching all the comments. It's
you're
so
literally
interesting.
in a way, you're basically like, I know this is a little bit glazing, but it's like you're kind of pioneering how you're supposed to, you know, use your engagement. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're getting the comment, then you're reposting it, then you're getting the story, then you're getting like you're triple dipping on every single engagement you get. And then the platform just going like, damn.
Honestly,
is like,
I would like to say that I meant to do that. I really didn't. I just
I know it's natural, but I'm looking at it from an outside looking in perspective.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm reading this shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? I'm actually looking, like, I don't even know who this account is, and I'm like reading these different perspectives and looking for like the good counter arguments and everything. And I think one I saw recently was like, okay, what about the minor major 7?
Yeah, so melodic. Yeah, I've had people ask me that. So my whole response to that is level 1. Melodic minor is like, it's kind of like what Victor Wooten was saying in that video, which people did not like that video, which cracks me up, where he's talking about 30 key centers.
I haven't seen it.
You've seen it from back in the day, bro, because I saw it a long time ago.
Okay.
And it's like him. You can go on there and see it, but it's him at like some event, and he's talking about like a class that he was hosting, and one of his friends that teaches there was like lecturing, whatever, and he's like, yeah, so how, and my guy, the guy, I can't remember that guy's name, but he's like, yeah, my friend's talking, and he's like, how many major keys, or you guys have to practice playing in all the keys, and Victor's kind of saying what he's thinking in his head because he's listening in, and he's like, yeah, I'm Victor Wooten, I know all my key centers, and he's like saying, 12, and then the guy says, no, incorrect, and Victor's like, wait, what the hell, like, because he's not saying any of this, he's thinking in his head, and the students are like, 12, whatever, you would think 12, and then long story short, he says, no, you're missing 18 of them, and he's like, what, 18, like 30, what, like, and he basically says, there's C major, which is 0 sharps and flats, and then there's all the sharp keys, and then there's all the flat keys, and then there's the relative minors of all of those.
Right.
So what he says is there's 7. So there's 7 sharp keys, 7 flat keys.
There's 14.
And then C major.
Yeah, C.
So there's 15. And then think relative minor.
I guess that is 30 if you count it in that
way.
way.
And that's the thing is, like, I rewatched it and I was like, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I thought, and my whole point with the video was like, oh, that's some no minor 1 logic right there. Like, I'm into it.
It's all about how you count it. It's all about perspective. And that's my main takeaway from this. Like, for me, like the whole no minor 1 thing, like the way I interpret it as someone who has actually thought about it for a little bit, from you, like, introducing it to me and bringing it up, is one is it's stuff that we all learned, or that I learned when I first started learning music. Right. You very first learn the modes. You learn what the names of the modes and all that stuff, and you learn relative minor, like, Yeah, no, exactly. Like, you learn all these kind of concepts, and then I guess we're kind of taught how to think about music. Like, we're told how to think about it a certain way. And then if you deviate from that, you're like, you're wrong. Someone has to be wrong. Right. But ultimately, it's all just about perspective. Yeah, I agree. And what we choose to call things. They're just sounds. They're just vibration. I tune piano, so I'm dealing with frequencies and all the time. I probably think about that more than most people, like pitch and all that stuff. Right. But, and even like building an octave, building a scale. Temperament, like the relationships between fourths and fifths and thirds and sixths, like it's all what we literally just agree upon, right? And then we all decide to call it this. We're gonna call this major, we're gonna call this minor, but it's really just relationships between 2 different frequencies. So the way it all boils down to me is, look, it's just what you guys decide to call things. Well, it's funny because people, like, I was just going back on a comment today where, like, oh, well, tomato, that's all just semantics. I'm like, exactly. Right. I saw that. It's 100% semantics. It actually is a semantics argument, because here's the thing is, we're not changing the music. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it's literally, I know, it's about semantics. And I'm saying, you guys are wrong. You're saying the wrong word. That's what I'm saying. I hear that. And that's why when you present the argument in that way, it's very hard for me to be like, that's wrong, because when I guess for me, like when I was very first being like, yo, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna debate him, I'm gonna shut him down, I'm gonna finally put one for everyone who's been saying he's wrong. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. But then I started really thinking, all right, so this is my approach. I was like, okay, we're gonna go in some songs we all know are in minor songs, and we're gonna go, okay, well, how does this make sense? Right. You know what I mean? So, like, what? And that's what I'm saying. But when I started going down that route, I was like, oh, I guess you can look at it from that perspective, that obviously the 1 isn't minor, it's 6. Right. Where it's really in this key, but we're just harping on. But then I think the main thing, like, where my mind goes to, is the 5-to-1 relationship. Because to me, that is music. That's Western music. That's all music. I mean, I don't know how they do stuff in India and China and like. But we're not talking about that stuff. Yeah. So in our scope, right? Mm-hmm. Everything comes down to that. Yeah. Diatonic to the, dominant. Yeah, for sure. I'm not, like, you can tell I need a refresher on my terminology and stuff. But basically, like, that relationship. So in the minor key, basically what it comes down to is, are we just calling everything secondary dominance? I would argue Essentially, it is,
yes,
right?
yeah. I would kind of argue yes, because the 5-1, quote unquote, is 100% is that strong relationship. It's just that I guess where I got confused when I was learning is that, like, okay, 5-1, like you'd be playing a minor tune, and then it's like, okay, but it goes to relative major or it goes wherever, and it's like, okay, but like me realizing finally, like, oh, but that's just the 6. I always got confused on minor. It was like whenever you're playing a minor tune and then you have to think about it from this perspective, and then in the middle it shifts, and it's like, but that's just the 6.
Like, it's pretty much saying, like, we're gonna change the rules. We're gonna modulate, essentially, because it's really modulation, right? And I think that's the key. Is like, are we modulating to the major chord, or was it always in the major chord?
See, and that's kind of it right there. It's like, and I would argue, and I feel like this is level 1 of kind of my argument of, like, because this is not even talking about parallel motion. Like we were just talking about Robert Johnson. You brought that record.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, the genius of the blues is the layering of two, like, to me, maybe
simultaneous. It's at the same time.
You're in two worlds at once.
Those,
you're in multiple places at once.
And that's kind of, that's a lot of, obviously, later was rock music too. It's taking that flat 6, a flat 7 to the major 1. Like, so, like, I would argue, though, a lot of these tunes that are in minor, 90% of them are from the 6. It's relative minor. Like, you know what I mean? And then the whole idea of the 5-1, E7, A minor. Okay, that's the question. That's the main.
So, see, I would argue that's 3 dominant. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, if we're in C major, and the classic response is, but it feels like home.
Right, yeah.
It feels like 1. I'm like, yeah.
Well, it's supposed to. That's like, what the 5 does.
Exactly. Like, we get
to any time,
we get it.
Make that. We can call it 5-1. It could be 5 of 6.
But my whole point is, like, okay, but what happens, like, in Black Orpheus when you go to D minor? That the one now too? Is like, is every diatonic, is every 5-1 relationship just
gonna call that
just
1.
Everything's 1?
But then then it comes back to what's the tonic, and I think that's what people always come back to. Okay, then what's the tonic? And then I think that's the question, which is, and that's actually why I think you might be wrong.
Okay,
I actually started looking up definitions of, like, the tonic.
Okay.
And what that means and everything, like the origins of that. And
see, but why don't we?
I didn't see, and they don't say anything about major or minor. I think, like, I'm pretty positive. That's the thing. Like, if we just throw out major, minor, and just be like, all right, we're just gonna use fifths, like, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to look at it,
right?
The tonic is like, it always comes back to the key, or,
yeah, but I guess my analogy is like, there's only one beat 1. You can do fills all day and hit on 4 and a 3, whatever.
But it comes back to the question of what's the tonic, and that's where I think people actually may have an argument. I think that's why this is like because look, if it was just one way or the other way, there would be no conversation, there'd be no back and forth. You want the debate. The debate's better. You know what I mean? So that's actually something you can continue to just be aware of. And I love how you break down, like, Robert Glasper or Barry Harris. Like, I love how you break stuff down. I actually got to check that stuff out, like the Victor Wooten one. But
so, like, the Robert Glasper one, the Afro Blue, to me, that's from the 6. Like, and he's telling you that. I mean, that's all gospel motion, like what he's doing. Obviously, I mean, it's Glasper. But it's like, I guess for me, it's just like being able to, and it's just personal, like, once I was able to really differentiate what the 6 sounds like, and then the 2, and then the 3, and then do parallel motion on top. It's like, oh, we're in C major, but I can also make it C minor 6 chord of E flat, or 2 chord of B flat. And even that, it's like that parallel motion those are all related. And that's why I'm always like, it's all 1-4-5. It's blues, baby. Like, and even that relationship, like, if I'm in C major, and I learned this from my church gig, like, we'd be playing in C, you'd be moving around 7-3-6, go whatever. And then at the end, the shout part, 1-4, and that's the best. You just get to 1-4, 1-4. You could do that all day. Mm-hmm. And then they're just playing C minor over it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's
that's
like,
where this whole thing started from.
But then they'll do
in terms of us talking about it.
And then they'll play A flat major, B flat major, C minor.
And that's what I was saying. The flat six, flat seven to the 1.
Right. See, but see, this is where they'll do that, and they'll play C minor, and they'll yell out E flat.
Yeah.
But they're playing C minor, so it's like,
I mean, it's the same.
They're thinking.
And that's the other thing for me is like I kind of learned early on in my mind, like the way I approach it, and that's why I did the whole thing with the pentatonics. It's like C major, A minors is really the same thing.
But see, that's the thing that confuses me is
it's
everyone
like
knows that.
Same. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. That's like we learned this early on.
But then when I say that, when I say that summer,
like, no,
yeah, and I'm like, what the like when I say summertime's from the 6,
and that's the other song that was the first song that came to my mind when I was thinking about challenging this whole notion. It's okay, summertime. We all know that's in a minor key.
Right.
We all learn that
but that's 6th chord,
A minor, right? But then obviously it goes to
relative.
C,
then that's the thing.
Resolves to C.
They'll say relative
and then
major.
For me, once we get to that C, I always felt like, okay, now that felt like home to me. So I always actually related to that. Like, okay, like in my mind, I was like, summertime is really this. Like I thought of it as the 6. 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Like before we ever had this conversation.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
so that's why I relate to it and being like, okay, it just goes to the 1, quote unquote, or goes to the relative major, however you want to think of it.
And really, I think really what a lot of people get hung up on is like, but it feels like A minor is more the 1. It's like, well, you're really just talking about harmonic phrasing. The way the harmony's phrased makes it feel. I
actually agree with that too, because it's like it feels like the 1 because we start there.
Yeah, but you could easily phrase it in a way where C major would feel like, you know, if you.
Well, here's the thing: you could superimpose the melody over the whole thing over C major,
right?
And then instead of the D, go to the 4, go to F. You can make anything major and minor. It's just how we color it. Like that's what I was kind of trying to get at earlier. It's just all how we call things, and for me, they're all just colors.
Right.
Like it's all about like the way I approach it is like we have all these different colors and tools and paints and color, like things we could use as an artist to express ourselves, and we are able to choose from those and put them together to tell a story. Like, so I don't even think about it in terms of like, obviously a chord is major or minor, but it's like,
yeah, but
I don't think there's really a wrong way. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I mean, yeah.
Like, that's why I think it's kind of like, there's not really an answer. It's just more like, how do you think about it?
Right. And I think that's what's kind of fun about this whole back and forth.
Right.
It's like, otherwise you're right. It would just be over. And
yeah. Yeah. There's no debate, but at the same time, it's like you have a good argument.
The thing is that, you know, blue is blue and green is green and red is red. You can't call blue red.
Right. We can't say, you know, C, E flat G is a minor. I mean, but then you can't, but then again, we're saying, no, that's E flat major. It's just without the 5th.
I mean, yeah, and this is kind of where, like, when I did the Barry Harris video, people didn't like it because they're like, oh, well, your Barry isn't saying that. I'm like, well, I don't really care what you think. Like, first of all, he's saying C minor. What are the keys that C minor's in? And he's asking, what is it, 6, 3, or 2?
A flat.
Yeah, it's like, and he's right. Like, I mean,
it's one of those options.
It's one of those options.
It's not C minor.
It's not C minor. Like, and it's like, oh well, he
didn't
say no minor 1. It's like, guys, you're missing the point. Like, you're not.
You didn't say those exact words, so therefore you are.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, like you guys are no fun. Like, come on. The point is that he says clear as day, you know, C minor. Okay, what does that belong to? And he's saying it's 6, 3, or 2. What? And those keys. My point is that those keys are related, like he says. And especially as you go, and then once you start talking about parallel motion, see, this is the thing. It's like crazy. It's like, I feel like I can't even get to my main point because I'm still stuck.
Everyone gets hung up on the first
Everyone's
part.
Still on like the first part. And it's like, bro, like forget trying to explain like true parallel motion, which I think is the genius of the blues. Whether they realized what they were doing or not, it obviously just resonated with them. Like we're listening to Robert Johnson, and the guy's just telling you the answer to the universe right there. Like,
and you know the craziest thing that I was reading or learning about today, because Robert Johnson literally, you know, he wrote the textbook for how the blues are essentially supposed to sound, and then rock and roll, like,
yeah,
you know, early foundation for everyone who listened to him. But long story short is he was self-taught.
Right.
He did not have anyone telling him what this is called, what that's called. This is supposed to be in this key.
Right.
That's how it's supposed to go. He didn't have any book he was learning from. He had a guitar and
his
people
ear
around him, the radio.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's what I find so interesting is like people are like, oh, well, you're overthinking it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe, I don't know. Like, who cares? But my point is that, you know, I love Jimmy. I love blues stuff. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, no one really has a good explanation for any of this stuff besides it's just like, oh, it is what it is. It's like, okay, cool. Like, that's cool and all, but that only gets you so far. And it's like, well, what's wrong about trying to kind of find explanations in this stuff or like things that carry over? Because for me, that's what kind of bothered me about like learning this stuff is like in jazz school, they'll tell you, hey, do this, melodic minor that, minor one this 3/6, and then they'll say, okay, let's play a blues. And then it's like, none of what you just told me even really applies to the blues. Just breaks all the rules.
What I don't like about the jazz, I mean, it's appropriate. Like we have to kind of learn it, but I wonder how helpful it really is. But I mean, the way that we learn essentially, and it's hard not to even teach this way, but like play this scale over this chord.
Right.
You know, like this, like, I mean, we learn the modes and that kind of thing, and it's appropriate, but at the same time, it's just.
Do you think those guys really even did that though?
Who?
Like all the jazz greats, like Monk didn't even.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's just, it's not what you play over those chords, and sometimes those chords aren't even that in that scale that you're trying to tell me. You know, it's like when I really listen to a lot of, like, you know, Monk and like the jazz guys, I realize how much they just put. A lot of the times, like they'll put dominance over minor. It's like what we think of as a 2/5 is really like just two dominant chords, or the way they'll play over it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or obviously playing the blues, like playing minor licks over major, which comes back around to the whole no minor one thing. But yeah, so it's just like, it's just kind of a little bit misleading. I think people have a different approach, and you know, because one of my main like go-tos is always Monk in terms of like how to approach jazz music, how to think about it, and it just diving more into the influences. To be honest with you, I think it's like you learn all the rules and you master everything, and then you try to have freedom with what you allow yourself to do.
Yeah.
Because the music isn't about being rigid. Not this style of music.
Well, that's what blows my mind so much is that there'd be a lot of rigid people out there.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's because people look at the tradition as so much holding in value. This is how you're supposed to do it. And I get it, because it's a beautiful, rich tradition. Like, it's marvelous. All the great, you know, jazz standards and tunes and renditions and everything. But I just think about the people I look at, like Wayne Shorter, who has so much flexibility with how he did his music, even his recorded music, and Miles Davis, who is like one of my biggest idols, who always just tried to pioneer the new way, you know, take from what Sly Stone was doing and James Brown was doing and Jimi Hendrix, like, you know, just be like, this is what's happening now. This is what we're going to sound like now. We're not going to sound like I did when I played with Charlie Parker, or I did when I played with John Coltrane. Like, we did that. Right. Now that this is the thing we're on, you know, and I really loved him for that. And like Prince too, you know, because he was just like innovation, like always innovating, like newest equipment, newest technology. Like Stevie Wonder too, Herbie, like incorporating the newest and greatest sounds in our song, you know.
But see, what all those guys hold in common to me is like, and when I finally started realizing it, like you learn all those songs and you realize they're doing all this blues-based parallel motion, which is kind of, you know, derived from this idea that I call no minor one, in the sense that, you know, Stevie, the reason his songs sound so rich is because it's not just 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, you know, whatever. Yeah, of course. It's like he's in multiple places at once.
He's modulating.
And it's like
doing it in a brilliant way. Like the thing I love about Stevie, as I start to actually learn his songs and everything, like the songwriting, not just listening. Right. Just the way he modulates and writes melodies is always so genius and so fitting, not overdoing it. You know what I mean? Like, he has a way of writing that is just so natural.
Yeah.
And groovy, and it never loses sight of the song, you know, even when he does things that are more adventurous harmonically. And it's very, I don't know, I really don't know how he, like, just God really just gave us him, you know, like, I don't know how you create that amazing music, to be honest with you. Timeless, like, writing, performing wise, just set the bar really, really, really high.
But when you learn some of those songs, it's like you see that there's certain harmonic ideas that are carried throughout. Like one that comes to my mind is like, where he plays, it's like he's in G flat playing from E flat minor, 6 chord, and he does both versions of what I call flat 7 dominant or flat 7. He does flat 7 dominant, sharp 11, and then later in the song, you know, don't you worry about a thing, E major, sharp 11. And it's like, and to me, like, that's another thing, like, I can't even get to discussing any of that stuff where it's like people are so caught up on like level 1.
Okay, so let's discuss it.
Let's talk about that song specifically, because he does
Don't you worry about a thing?
Yeah, you know, he's in E flat minor, 6 chord of G flat major, right? And he does all the cool, I mean, look at the beginning. You're right. He's treating it, he does the classic walk down from the 6, you know, minor, major, or minor, you know, major 7 in the bass, and it walks down. He does, you know, he's treating it as like a 2 also. And it's like, and then it goes into the song, and then it's like, he plays E7, you know, it's E flat minor, and then he plays E7 up at the first part. And it's like E7 dominant, like sharp 11, if I remember right. And then later on, which I call, that's the same thing as Nine Tunisia.
Well, how do you think of that chord then?
I think of it as I call that, I have 2 names for it. It's flat 7 dominant, like sharp 11, flat 7 dominant with a. And
is the groove mostly in E flat minor?
Yeah, 6 chord of G flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would think of that as the flat 2.
See, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Either way, I mean, if it's going to the E flat,
whatever. Yeah, call it whatever you want. It is what it is.
Yeah. But regardless, it's that.
But then he does later on. He changes it into an E major 7 sharp 11.
Well, it's still the same kind of function,
right? But the thing is that it's like, for me, it's like, why does that sound so good, and why does that work? And to me, it's like that whole E flat minor to E major sharp 11, like that's what I would call that true Lydian, true Phrygian, because no one really explains Phrygian, in my opinion, correctly.
Okay, what chord is it? You said the E flat minor to
E major sharp 11, which is exactly the same as Speak No Evil, which is exactly the same as Deluge, which is exactly the same as D'Angelo's Lady, which is exactly the same. Like, the list goes on. Like, in that motion, when I finally realized, oh, the only note that's out of the key is that E. When you play it as major sharp 11, you know.
My brain goes in different directions, but I'm gonna let you finish.
So, and the thing is that, like, when I realized, like, oh, okay, you can play E flat, you know, Phrygian, which is the 3. Everyone knows that's the 3rd mode, but it's like, it's not the 3rd mode of G flat. E flat would be the 3rd mode of B, and E major sharp 11, which is Lydian 4 chord, would be the 4 of B, and B is just the 4 chord of G flat. And it's like 1 4 5. Like, it's just, you're borrowing from the 4. We do that all the time. It's literally 1 note different. And what note is it different? From G flat major to B, the E. It's like literally the same note. And like, no one would argue. No one would argue when you say, all right, we're in G flat major and then play G flat 7. That's good. Wants to go where? That wants to go to the 4. Yeah, and it's like, well, what note did you change? Oh, well, I changed the F to an E. Now it made it the G flat dominant. It's like, okay, that's of the 4. It's like, yeah, for sure. So in that same spirit, just do it, you know, from the 6, E flat minor to E major. It's like the same. You're borrowing from the same key center.
Yeah, the same family.
It's the same family, and it's like that even, and that also explains why a minor 2 5 to the 6 7 3 6 That's why that sounds good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why these minor 2/5s sound good. Like no one, when I was learning, I just never understood why you could 2/5 to all these minor places.
Yeah, I mean, the way that it was explained was you're taking from the chords from the harmonic minor. That's how I learned it.
Right.
You're taking the chords from the harmonic minor.
But see,
and so it's all in the same family. When you use the chords, it's harmonic. When you use the melody, it's melodic.
It's like,
and then
but
when you
that's
do this,
so
it's
confusing.
natural. So let's learn 3 different keys.
It's like, oh, all of a sudden everything is minor one there. That one's not related to that, and that's it's just so random. It seemingly seems so random.
Makes it a lot more. It could be more complicated.
But and then once you realize, okay, you know, a minor 2/5, in my opinion, is birthed from 7/3/6. You place. That's why the 2 in a minor 2/5 is half diminished. It's because it's actually the 7.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows that diatonically speaking, the 7 is half diminished. Even though I've had discussions with Kiefer about this, where Monk didn't even think of half diminished. He didn't even call it that.
Well, that's what I was telling you. Is half diminished is, to me, it's a suspended fifth. Essentially.
So let's say we're in C major.
We learned it in the school way. I'm talking about the way it actually applies to the real world.
So let's do it. So say we're in C major and we're saying B half. How do you think of that?
B half diminished?
B half diminished. Like BEA, like summertime.
Okay, so if we're talking about B half diminished,
yeah.
Well, I'm going to be honest. All the diminished chord is like, it's really just a diminished chord. So like, you know, and I say that because we understand that all the diminished chords share a function with those 4 keys, 4 notes that are equidistant. But anyways, it's G7 without the G.
Right. Yeah, I mean 100%.
It's the G. It's the dominant chord.
It's a 9 chord
without the root.
Yeah.
Not a 9th chord. It's a 7th chord.
But it has the A. But it has the A in there. I mean, like a G9.
Okay, wait. So you're talking about B half diminished, meaning
B
with the A, like the 7th chord.
Yeah.
I mean, then it's the same thing. You're just adding the 9th.
That's kind of the Barry Harris way.
Yeah, it's just a 5 chord.
Yeah.
So this is 5-1. So now when we talk about half diminished in terms of the function of the minor keys,
okay,
right? Meaning like we think 2-5-1, right? Or like whatever key.
Minor 2/5, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So let's say summertime. That B half diminished now, which is going to A.
Yeah.
It's really just the E chord, the 5 chord.
Okay.
In that sense, but instead of the 3rd, it's suspended.
So
it's really the sound of E suspended going to the
I see what you're saying.
Resolving.
Because it has the A in there.
Yeah. It doesn't, and then you want to, complicate it, you would add the 5th. I know it's like, okay, well, that's not accounting for the F, right? Mm-hmm. And all that.
I mean, that would be the flat 9.
It would be the flat 9, but that's kind of the sound. Now obviously composers want there to be more emotion, so not everything is just 5-1, 5-1, 5-1.
Right.
That's why suspensions happen. That's why Bach had suspensions on the downbeat,
right?
and then resolving later, right?
Yeah.
But what we did and what Bach did too is have his suspensions with that with that inversion. So it's the second scale degree.
I see what you're saying.
While that dominant chord is happening, it's not all the dominant chords. They use all the inversions.
Right, I get you.
So once you understand that too, everything is just inversions of the 5-1. There's only 2 sounds. There's only 2 sounds in the scale. It's the tonic and dominant.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree.
Everything else is an extension or something. We'll leave this note out. Leave this. We'll have the melodies going different ways. But it's only 2 sounds, really.
I mean, that's kind of what I mean when I say the whole like it's blues, baby. It's all 1-4-5, or it's just 5. I mean, even 4 is a 5.
Exactly,
chord, so
and that's what I'm essentially saying, which is that 4 or that 2 is just a suspended 5th. And once you kind of get that, like I remember in Berkeley, a friend of mine who's a really super dope instrumentalist. His name is John Lee. He played with like Christian McBride recently on something. I forget. Like he's a super super talented jazz cat up in somewhere in Canada. But he told me once, just like all these 2-5s, he was just like, yo, let's think of them all as like the suspended. If it's like, instead of doing everything 2/5, just do like dominance and
5/1.
It changed my entire philosophy.
Like
it literally changed how I play because I was just like, oh, this is just dominant. And so now I have the option of anytime it's a 2-chord, I'll just play it as just not every single time.
I get you,
but it's always an option of like, dude, this is the sound.
Charlie Parker does that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and exactly, and then so once you figure that out, it's like, okay, so it's a 2/5/1, but he's just playing B flat over. It's like it's F minor to B flat to E flat. He's just playing B flat, or he's just playing E flat minor pentatonic.
Okay, but see,
you know what I mean.
Okay,
so
but see,
like,
you just led me to my next point, which is like, I was just showing tried Parker transcription to one of my students, and like we're going over it, and I'm like, look, man, just see how he's like asking me how this all makes sense, and he's like altering all these notes, and I'm like, but just look at all the altered notes. First of all, you can tell he's just kind of thinking 5-chord instead of 2, like what you're saying essentially, and then it's like when you realize like, okay, when you alter the 5-chord, it's like. When I finally realized that when you
other notes you can access,
but all those notes, the altered notes, are literally in the parallel minor key.
Well, here's the thing.
Like you said,
all the notes are going to be in some key, but here's the thing: dominant chords, anything goes.
Right, but for example, the example I always use is
the only thing that doesn't really fly on dominant chords, unless you know how to resolve it, is the 4 of that dominant, which is a suspended note. That's the only note you got to be careful with. Everything else can fit in some scale somewhere, and then obviously the major 7 too.
Well, it's funny because I've been making a list of all these Charlie Parker. Well, not just Charlie Parker, but he does it a lot. Like in Barbados, he's playing major 7s all the time.
On what? Dominant
it's a
chords?
blues. It's an F blues, but he plays E all the time.
Yeah, on.
It's like counter
chord.
Yeah, it's like
on the 1 chord or
it's counterintuitive because you think on dominant or a blues you can't play the major 7. And it's like, bro, this guy he'd be playing major 7 all the time. You don't care.
That's deep. But
it's like
that's deep. No rules. But it's just like I honestly think that they approached the blues differently back then.
Like in what way?
I think so basically I know they had because the whole Charlie blues is like 1 major 7. 7 basically 2/5 to the 6, and then going down 2/5 to the 4, they kind of reinvented how we think of blues,
right
from
like bird blues,
exactly,
yeah.
So when you think of it like that, they're okay with that one being major 7,
right?
Because they were like
he does this on like
a different way.
I was thinking of Barbados. He does it on like a straight. That's just a regular blues. Like,
sing me the melody a little bit so I can.
It's like I mean,
he's a melody. Using the major 7 chord.
And the melody has an E in it a lot.
That's what I'm explaining.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They changed it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, but it's not a bird blues.
They were like in this. But regardless, they're like in this song, it's major 7s.
Right.
They're not like, because it's a blues, everything has to be dominant 7.
But that's what they tell you, like the mentality of like when you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you're learning at that stage, and that has a purpose.
Wait, talking to your mic.
Oh, my bad. That has a purpose, but rules are meant to be broken.
I agree, and that's some no minor 1 logic.
And that's why even if it's like no minor 1, if that's the rule, guess what? That's why we're gonna break that bitch too. We're gonna reinvent the scales.
I'm in, bro.
Because ultimately that was my whole point, which is it's whatever you decide to call it. If I decide to call it minor 1, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
And then I'm at war with the whole no minor 1.
Whatever.
I'm gonna have to strap up against all y'all. But no, because it's like, and that's why I did my little example of like taking these pentatonic scales and then playing all the different roots, because we take the same set of 5 notes, and depending what note is emphasized in the bass, we're going to define those notes differently. And those 5 notes is that pentatonic scale is the basis of the major scale sound or minor scale sound, whatever.
Right.
It's right there. We're just taking out the two notes that would give us that dominant, that tension kind of sound, which is the fourth and the seventh. But regardless, depending what note we play in the bass, we're going to call it differently.
Right.
Same sound. Mm. If it's C, we're going to call it C major. If it's A, we're going to call it A minor. And then 10 other options in between.
See, and I feel like my major breakthrough is that, like, when I really realized the parallel motion of things, like, think if you're in C.
You're saying how all the keys relay in all the options.
And the thing is that it really does go back to Jimmy all day, like just blues, where it's like, if you're in C and you play C, F, G, okay, and then you keep traveling, D minor, 2, 5, 1, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Okay, cool. But then it's like when you have like E minor to A7 and then D minor to G7. It's like, people will say, oh, that's a 2-5 to another 2-5. And it's like, okay, that's fine. It's not wrong, I guess. But to say that it's not really still in C.
Not related.
Yeah.
Like we're modulating. Like we just modulated twice.
Yeah. Like
because
what?
we introduced this note. And
that's
it's
a 2-5.
That's the way we're taught. Is once you introduce this note that's not in the key.
Yeah.
Now we've modulated.
Right.
Now we're in A.
And then it's like, okay, well,
now,
what happens if I do E7, A7, D7, G7? Okay, then what? And then it's like, okay, well, what happens if I do E alt and alter it however you want? Sharp the 5, flat the 5, flat the 9, sharp the 9. I don't even care. The more you do it, and if you do that to all of those, what I finally realized, and I learned this from G Baby Ain't I Good to You. Actually, I learned this from my church gig because we'd be in C major and they would 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, and then at the end, and that's a straight minor pentatonic line. C, E flat, F, G, F, and they'll pair it with 3, 6, 2, 5, major 1, and it's like, well, why the hell does that work? And it's like, well, duh, stupid. Once I realized, oh, if I play E7 with a sharp 5 and a sharp 9, that's C and G. If I make it flat 5, flat 9, that's B flat F. Right. Okay, let's go to A7. If I do the same thing, flat 9, B flat, sharp 9, C, sharp 5, F, flat 5, E flat. Those are all C minor notes. Let's do it with D7. Okay, sharp the 5, B flat, sharp flat the 5, A flat. That's even more C Aeolian notes. That's parallel. That's true parallel minor. And it's okay. Sharp 9, F, flat 9, E flat. Still C minor notes. If I do it with G7, flat 9, A flat. Okay. Sharp 9, B flat. Okay. Sharp 5, E flat. Flat 5, D flat. That's what I mean when I say 7. It's like, oh, well, that's like you're literally introducing all the black keys.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course that's gonna happen, but I know what you're saying. Then when you think,
but it's like, bro,
you're thinking C is obviously the 7th of D flat.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's just like finally realizing, like, yo, the black keys are literally the parallel minor notes
in the key of C.
Yeah, it's like literally all the different C minors.
Yeah,
6, 3, 2, and 7. I've been adding 7. That's my latest one because that takes into account the flat 5.
Wait, flat 5.
The G flat, the F sharp. If I play C major, white keys.
I know what you're saying.
And then I play C minor. Just like Barry said, that's the 6, 3, or 2 of any of those keys, which are, they themselves are 1, 4, 5 of each other, right? C minor, 6 chord of E flat. Okay, C minor, 2 chord of B flat. C minor, 3 chord of A flat. That's 1, 4, 5. It's E flat, A flat, B flat, right? Okay, C minor, 7 of D flat, right?
Well, it's not, because D flat.
Well, C minor would be the 7 of D flat.
Yeah, it would, but it's not going to give you C minor. It's going to give you C half to.
Right, but what I'm saying is that accounts for that F sharp or G flat.
The way you should account for that is E flat minor. That's a minor third. Don't go to the 7th.
So you're saying
E flat, which is the parallel minor,
right? And then parallel minor of that.
E flat minor.
See, I'm into that. That's like parallel.
It's a minor third.
Yeah, I like that.
That's where it comes from.
I'm down with that.
Because that G flat doesn't give you C minor with the 5th. It gives you a flat 5th. So It's really the dominant.
But it's still minor. C minor.
It's not though, because
it's minor 7, flat 5.
Flat 5.
But I mean, it's still C minor.
Minor 3rd, but no, the 5th is important though. The 5th is
right.
Yeah, we can't because then you're going against your math
not really
movement.
because I feel like half diminished is a version of minor. Like Locrian to me it is.
That's wrong. It's not. Half diminished is a dominant without the root.
Okay, that's the monk. I'm into that, bro.
That's truth. I'm telling you.
Because here's the thing: is the other thing that drove me nuts, and when I finally understood it, that's what I call 6 of 6. So like, if we're in C major, and I play B half, E7, A minor, da da da, F sharp half, right?
Oh, you mean by F sharp?
It is the 6 of the 6, which is A minor.
Yeah.
That's the 6. If I say play A minor 6 chord, you're going to put an F sharp in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well.
Where does that come from?
I think that's the 2 of G, which is just the 5 key. It's like that's the only, it's literally the only note that's different, the F sharp. What's different from G to C? F sharp. And that's what I mean by layering. It's all about layering. Like you over a 6 chord, you can play a 3 or a 2. And when you do that, you're borrowing from the 4 and the 5 key. This is why, like, in my opinion, no one has a good explanation of minor 2/5s.
I haven't thought about that. The 6 of 6, because I got to think about where that note really comes from. I know that the easy answer is to say it's now in the 2 of G. Maybe did we go to the 5th there?
Because you do that a lot, like Whisper Not. Benny Golson does that all the time.
Well, we do use the sharp.
Afro-Cuban music does that all the time. That's kind of where I learned it.
The sharp 11 on the 1 chord.
Right, but even if you did that, that's the 4 of G. Mm-hmm. C major sharp 11
exactly.
It's still the same thing.
Yeah. I guess it is. Yeah, no, I haven't thought about
And the thing is like and that explains why a minor 2/5 to E minor, the 3 sounds good. It's the 7/3/6 in G. If I minor 2/5 to A minor, in my opinion, like the whole like play harmonic minor is cool and all, but they don't tell you why. It's like, okay, I get it. I play a harmonic minor, A harmonic minor over E7, right? That's what they always tell you. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Why? Because it has the G sharp. Yeah, we get it. It's the major 7 of the. Okay, yeah, cool. But why? And it's like, well, it's actually a 3 chord, and that A flat, that G sharp, in my opinion, flat. That's the flat 6 of C, right? Mm-hmm. A flat, G sharp is the flat 6 of C major. Well, and my saying is the flat 6 is
the flat because it doesn't go down.
Well, whatever. Call it whatever you want.
Okay, but yes. But
the sound is like that's the gateway to parallel minor. That comes from E flat major, C minor, 6 chord.
I think that's a little bit of a reach. I have to stick with the secondary dominant.
What, like E7's secondary dominant? Right, but again,
they want it to be a major chord because that 3rd wants to go up. It's a leading tone. It's a dominant tonic.
That's fine. Yeah, but but it doesn't. Talking to your mic.
So when we think about where it comes from, I gotta think.
I think it comes from C minor, C aeolian, 6 chord of E flat major. That A flat. That's why minor. That's why minor 4 sounds good, bro. If you play C
minor 4, I can agree.
That's 2 chord of E flat. It's the same chord. It's the same note, same key sound. Yeah,
but it's not functioning the same way. I
mean, but all of these function in many ways. I mean, think about Sunny Side of the Street. You play E7 on the second bar. You don't go to A. You go to F.
You know where I would probably agree with you more is dominant. When you understand diminished. Diminished is the gateway to modulation.
I'm down with that.
Right. So that diminished, and that I think is where you'll find more answers in terms of searching for where these things tie together. Diminished is how we get from those 4 key centers, because that diminished chord that goes G. Okay, it doesn't have G, right? But it's that diminished, the B, D, F, G sharp or whatever, right? That diminished is giving us access to 4 different
that's like the Barry
centers,
Harris thing, yeah.
right? So that leads to C. That diminished is the leading tone of C, and it's also the leading tone of A.
Sure,
it's the same. Yeah. So we can access that C, whether it's major or minor, and that A, which whether it's major or minor, the same diminished. So that's what it is. And then obviously it's also, E flat and then G sharp.
I just feel like if you take away the words and you just played all this stuff, which is what the church guys do, and that's how I learned this stuff.
Right.
They don't have names for some of this stuff.
But they use diminished to modulate 100 times. Right,
but the thing is those guys clearly know the difference between a 6 chord, a 2 chord, and a 3 chord, and a 1 chord, and then parallel. Mm-hmm. They clearly know it.
Yeah, but the only way
and they
to
don't
know
have names
that
for any of this.
The only way to know that though is to know what the tonal center is that we're relating it to.
I mean, exactly. That's my point.
Right, and I agree with you. The other thing we agree on, we agree on about 99. We're talking about that point.
Yeah,
we're talking about the semantics of the 0.8% right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like we agree. That's the thing. Like, and I can, I'm playing devil's advocate. And
I love it.
Not even. I'm really just like being like, oh, I agree with this. I don't agree with that. Right. You know what I mean? But we're really saying the same thing.
I know.
But the one thing I will say, just like to, I guess, there really is no putting an end to this argument. Like next time we come in, it's the same thing we're talking about.
That's what's kind of fun
right
about
where we
it,
left off, Yeah. But the thing is all is about what do you call as a tonic? That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
What you think is home. I mean, because, and that's why we never looked it up. But when I looked up what's the tonic in my preparation for this showdown, I didn't see a single thing. Let's look up what the definition of a tonic is right now.
Okay, go.
Because that might literally single-handedly dethrone you, disprove you, debate you, live debate. I came into his territory.
Do it. Let me see.
And I dethroned them single-handedly.
Careful, bro. No minor one is undefeated, bro. I've been fighting the whole internet.
Not today. Today it ends. What is a tonic? We're gonna decode this from the, and look, I'm already give y'all game. Look, Louis gonna try to weasel his way out, try to redefine minor, no minor one, redefine the tonic. No, we're gonna go by textbook definitions that have been around since before either of us ever started making music.
Yeah.
Okay, a tonic, an agent such as a medication that is supposed to restore or improve health or well-being. I don't see a single thing in there. All right, so obviously there's a lot of different definitions. Let's relate it to music, shall we? What do we want to use? Do we want to use Webster's?
Hey, bro, type in no minor. What is no minor one on Google?
No, we're not getting roped into that. He's trying to get me to this content farm right now. No, we're gonna look at what is a tonic in terms of music. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Are y'all ready?
Go.
Relating to or based on the first note of a scale. That ends the debate. You're welcome. Everyone on Instagram, I did it. I relayed the message. I did all I could, man. Stand up. Comment section, chat, stand up.
Oh, man, that's hilarious, dude.
All right, let's reread it. Let's reread it for the people in the back. Tonic, as according to Merriam-Webster.
Okay.
Relating to or based on the first tone of a scale. Oh no, that's tonic harmony. Okay, maybe that isn't the best, but basically it's the first.
Yeah, there's only one beat one, bro.
It's the first note in the scale, right?
There's only one beat one, dude. They're talking about no minor one. One is one, dog. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't see nothing about major or minor. I didn't see that in the definition. Okay, let's look at another definition. No, we're not going to use Wikipedia. We're going to look for something a little bit more. Let me try to find, how do you find old definitions? Like, I'm trying to find the definition that's like.
But then hey, you know what's funny though? No matter what, I feel like my lady always tells me this. She's like, you know, like I feel like these people that are like going back and forth have like this is the most they've thought about music theory in a long time.
Facts. Yo, I haven't thought about this stuff. Even when I was in college, I didn't think about it this much.
Like
on God,
like,
I did not think about like I was in tonal harmony,
right?
Doing figured bass,
right.
And I didn't think about it this much.
Right.
I just did it. I did the assignment. I knew how to do it, and then I moved on. I did. Yeah. But now I'm actually thinking about this like deep. Like,
I'm telling you, bro. So I try and tell you guys.
I appreciate it. Okay, let's look at this. This is Britannica. And we know the people in the UK know what they're talking about when it comes to this English stuff. Tonic in music, the first note, degree of any diatonic scale. Now notice that it's a diatonic scale.
Okay.
Major or minor. That's what diatonic means, major or minor. Okay, it's a major or minor in this definition. It is the most important degree of the scale, serving as the focus for both melody and harmony. Mm-hmm. The term tonic may also refer to the tonic triad, the chord built in thirds from the tonic note. Okay. See also tonality. Should we also see tonality?
I get annoyed by this because then people be like, oh, but what about tonicization? You're tonicized. Like, bro, get out of here with your damn words. Like, no one cares. Like, yeah, I mean, like at a certain point,
you're less focused on the definitions and more of the function.
I'm saying if you take away all the words, it's no minor one, bro.
It's the sounds.
It's no minor one. If you can't hear, if I just play a bunch of chords in a key center or I move keys, it don't matter. Do the church approach, and they don't have names for that. And I say, hey, Tejan, what are you playing? He goes like this. He doesn't say, oh, it's C half, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, it's
a sound.
It's what he does. Sound. He don't respond. He just goes. It's like, okay, if you take away all the words, you're forced to hear it the way I'm hearing it. Like I had a podcast with how do I say his name? Pritresh. Ah, shoot, I'm butchering it. But this guitar player, he's great. And we were talking, and he's like, so you don't really, like if you're in summertime, you don't hear that as minor one. I'm like, no, I hear that as 6 all day. Like
then when you go to D, you think 2?
When I go
D minor, you think 2?
When I hear what?
When you go to the D minor,
yeah, that's 2.
You think 2.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that people get so caught up on is like, oh, but that's 1/4. It's like, well, it sounds like 1/4.
You know why what you say actually makes sense. I'm a little side note.
Go.
Okay, my favorite arrangement of Summertime is Gil Evans with Miles Davis.
Gil Evans is the man, dude.
It's the most swinging, like hypnotic Summertime arrangement.
I gotta listen to it again. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I highly, highly recommend it.
I mean, he's the man.
Yeah, no, he is. But I honestly think this is like in his top 3 arrangements.
Okay.
And it's nothing crazy. It's just the way he approached it. But long story short, in this arrangement, and I don't know if people do it all the time, but since I heard this arrangement, I do this almost every time I play the song now. But for when he goes to the 4 chord,
like D minor?
D minor. It's 1 measure of D minor, then it's 1 measure of C minor.
Parallel.
And it goes back to the 2/5 or B,
B,
B half diminished, E7 to A, right?
Yeah.
Back to the 2/5/1 what we think of, right? So, but that C minor, it only makes sense in no minor 1 logic, because otherwise it's
what is it?
There is no 3
it's
minor.
Flat 3. No, you'd have to say flat 3 minor.
Exactly.
You can't say 3. See, and that's the other thing. People be like, oh, well, what's, it's implied that it's flat 3.
Yeah, flat 3.
It's like, no, it's not implied. Well, what's the 6? And then there's a moment of confusion. Okay, what's the 6 in a exactly? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Case closed. No minor 1.
It depends what key.
Jesus.
Yo, you kind of see, he's defeating me, guys. It's hard, guys. I'm trying, y'all. I read the definition and everything. Look. But to your point, again, like I tried to break this down, and I love this arrangement, and it sounds so.
Yeah, I gotta listen to it. Yeah,
for those anyone who's played Summertime on that after the D minor chord,
play a C minor.
I'm into that. It's a descending.
Yeah,
most people probably just move the root motion down like a D, then it goes, but it stays on D. But no, if you go to a C minor,
and then go to B after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's murder, bro.
It's
I like that.
It's so genius.
That's tight. I've never done that.
No. I do it after I heard it and figured it out. I do it every time. I'm giving
that.
y'all so much game on like how to approach this stuff.
Okay, here's another example in the same tune, because I think it's the Billie Holiday one. I don't remember, but when you start the song, if you do A minor, B minor, A minor, B minor, it's like, well, why does that work? Mm-hmm. Summertime. And that's how I think they started. I'm pretty sure that's the version. But they just play A minor, B minor, A minor, and then she comes in summertime and the living is easy, right? It's like, okay, well, why does that work? And then they go to D minor, which does not have an F sharp. The B minor did. Mm-hmm. And in my rationale, to my ear, it's like, okay, why does my ear like that? And to me, it's like, oh, well, you're just treating it as a 2 chord. 2, 3 from G. That's the 5 key. 1, 4, 5. Jazz prove it. It's blues, baby.
All the same, yeah. Revolving, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's all about treating. It's like, you got to know the difference between a 6, a 2, a 3, and then that way you can use them on top of each other. And this is what Wes does all the time, bro. Yeah. He be playing.
They all take from all those different.
It's like Wes be playing 6 chord, but he plays it as a 2 chord every time. 4 on 6 does it. Full House does it. Like they all, that's like his thing. He be playing, from the 6, like I was playing Mellow Mood, which is a Jimmy Smith tune. And it's like a minor blues, basically. See, and I think minor blues is from the 6. Minor blues is from the 6. No one wants to say that, but that's what it is.
When I think of minor blues, I think of Mr. PC.
Right, yeah, of course. F minor, and it sounds like 4 if you think of C as 1. But when you realize, if you zoom out, you're like, oh, it's 6. 2 4 dominant, 3 dominant, and you know why?
And that's where it gets into. Go ahead.
Okay, but you know why 4 dominant sounds so good, and especially why you can play minor blues? Because think about A flat has a G flat in it. That's flat 5 of C. That's minor blues scale, right? It's like, okay, why does that sound so good? It's just parallel motion. E flat major, E flat minor. The G flat is E flat minor. That's inside A flat 7. Again, secondary dominants borrow from parallel minor. Once I really heard that, it's like, you're not gonna play. You don't play on most secondary dominants. You don't play Mixolydian. It sounds like ass.
Yeah.
It's like all the wrong notes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you got to play.
We don't just transpose the word in this key now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, you got to play flat 9. You got to play all the, and it's, if you think of it as parallel minor.
That's deep.
I learned that from my church gig and from G Baby Ain't I Good to You. So it's literally every secondary, I call them diatonic secondary dominants, which I'm pretty sure that's kind of what secondary dominants mean.
You know what? That's so weird that you mentioned that, because so many secondary dominants, I just play all the alter notes. Yeah. And don't think about why, but it's like, if you don't, it just doesn't sound as fitting.
Right. And it's all
so weird. It's like, I just naturally, you hear them, like, okay, I have all these options. So right. I'm going to take it. I like to use them, especially the flat 9s and like 13s, but it's like, when you think about why, besides I just like that sound, you're starting to actually decode why. Why we like
it's blues, sounds, bro.
And how it relates to those other keys. So
you're literally playing blues, baby. You're playing parallel minor. Like G Baby Ain't I Good to Use an E flat major, starts on C7, 6 chord, dominant. C, 4 dominant, 3 dominant, 6 dominant, 2 dominant with the G flat up top. That just tells you the answer. E flat minor, bro. Okay, if you play all those as, I used to play those as all like, oh, I got to play Mixolydian. It sounds stupid when you do that. It don't sound right at all. The minute you play E flat minor and alter all those.
And that's what I was getting at, which is if you just learn, the way we're kind of taught to play these notes over this chord.
Right.
A bit misleading. Yeah, because it's like only only when you're beginning and you don't have no idea what to play. And then once you start to learn what to play, it's like you don't play those things. You just play what sounds good, essentially, But I think it's like there really isn't a definitive end to this, but it's just like what I would just say to musicians who might actually check this out.
Yeah.
Because this is like, I see how it's easily gotten so theoretical to where it's like, if your music theory isn't like really good, it's hard to follow.
That's the thing I've realized is most people are just not keeping up. So they're just like, oh, this guy's out of his mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you have to be honest, you have to already know a lot of music theory, like the back of your hand to follow this type of conversation.
100%.
And so because of that, I can see how it could be a little bit off-putting for people, or just be like, oh, well, it's going over my head, so I'm just not gonna follow along kind of thing. But what I would say, just like as a takeaway, is really explore all the options and colors and capabilities you can do with your instrument. Like Quincy Jones said, learn everything you can do with those 12 notes. Learn every combination, and then it's just essentially just repeat itself. Besides that, it's just voicing what how you want to spread out that information across different instruments, different palettes, and all this stuff. And Quincy was such a master at that, like a lot of the great arrangers and composers of his time and before him, you know. But just learn everything so you know what options you have, because that was my main point, which is there really isn't a right or wrong way.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just I learned all these colors and then I use them to help get me from here to here.
Right, but again, blue is blue and yellow is yellow and green is green, and
I mean,
red is
there's
red.
truth to that. There's absolutely truth to that.
I can't call blue red.
But to what you're saying, this is the only way I think of it is there's as many different keys as your instrument gives you, which is like 12 typically in our system, right? Unless you're bending notes or whatever, microtonal stuff. And then within that, there's really only two colors that you can paint in different ways. It's dominant and tonic. You know what I mean? So it's like really there's only two flavors of the ice cream shop.
Right.
But we love to, make the illusion that there's 32 different flavors of Baskin Robbins. You know what I mean? So it's like put them all in different ways. And with that, there's a lot of different ways we can voice things. There's a lot of different ways we can put things together. I learned music like I was getting like, by the time I was ending college, I was thinking more in terms of colors and like tone rows and like playing all the colors of the scales, all the notes at once. Not that you would ever necessarily do that, but just understanding this song, we're going like how it's moved, like which notes are available in the palette at any given time. Because we choose not to use all 12 or it would just sound like, everything would be chromatic, everything would be atonal, how we choose which notes to use and for what reason. And for me, it's all about serving the melody. That's the most important thing. What color are we putting underneath the melody? If we're, making melodic music, which I hope you are, hope your music has rhythm, melody, and harmony.
Okay, so speaking of melody, like this is what I use as an example. Like Autumn Leaves, in my opinion, perfectly tells you the difference between what a 2-5-1 is and what 7-3-6, aka minor 2-5-1 is. And furthermore, the first ending tells you how to use melodic minor, which you apply over the 6 chord for level 1. Because think about it. Autumn Leaves starts on the 2. And the classic thing is like, hey, let's play Autumn Leaves in E. What everyone's thinking right now is, well,
E minor?
E minor or E major? Yeah. It's like right there, you just had a no minor 1 moment. I love that. I love watching that in real time at jam sessions. Like singer comes up and like, hey, let's play E minor, or let's play an E. And then I'm like, oh, here it goes. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're literally doing what I'm saying in real time. It's like, okay, E minor. Okay, sick. Starts on, G. And it's like,
well, I think
it starts on A.
So we're
okay,
playing in G, cool.
Exactly. So it's like, and then you go, okay, 2-5-1 4-7-3 ba ba da da. You play melodic minor over the E. You play B, C sharp, D sharp, G. That first ending tells you how to play melodic minor.
Well, it's written in melodic minor.
But that's I'm just saying that like that's
from that. But that's also why people would think See, we're clearly in E because it's using the E melodic minor. There's the leading tone right there. There's the D sharp. That has nothing to do with G. We don't see any D sharps in G, C.
Well, you know what it is. You know where it comes from. It's like the harmonic.
D sharp?
It's the harmonic minor type thing. That D sharp is the E flat from G minor, 6th chord of B flat.
See, that's where I disagree with you.
Okay, why?
That's where I think you're going way.
No, flat 6 is the gateway to parallel minor. That's why minor 4 sounds good. That's why dominant 3 works. That's why 5 flat 9 works. That's why 2 half diminished works.
I think it's just simply the dominant.
Okay.
You could be in C and do the 5 of 6, or in this case, let's keep it to G. We're in G.
Okay.
The 5 of 6.
So you're saying B7.
That's the leading tone.
Right.
We don't got to go to G minor. 6.
I'm not saying I'm just saying
that's way too removed.
No, but it's a why does that sound good?
Because the dominant to tonic is the only 2 sounds that exist in music.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying though. When it's like if I do dominant to anything else, so those are all the same. That's minor 1. That's minor 1. That's minor 1. It's like
I'm not calling it one. So random. I'm not calling it one necessarily. I'm just saying, even if you call it 5 of 3 or 5 of 6, right?
Right.
We're in G. It's a 5/6. Why does it sound good? Because it's the 5 of because. The 5 to anything it resolves to sounds like that. That's why everything is based around.
It's just in my opinion, that's very confusing in terms of like then everything just seemingly is random. It's like
no, it's not because it still relates directly. It's okay. So in that major G major, we have really in my mind only 6 notes. We're throwing the 7th out the window. Sorry, 7th. We don't care about you. Those 6 notes: G, A, B, C, D, E.
You're saying major pentatonic?
Not even because we're including the
C.
third. Including the C. Long story short, all those notes, and we have to include the C. That's the 4th, right? 5 to whenever we go G7, the 4 blues, right? Anyways, those 6 notes all those have those secondary dominants.
So you're saying in G?
In G, we can do 5 of that's D7.
Okay.
So this is also part of the palette of what's available to us.
Right.
Along with the parallel stuff, D7, E7, which leads to the B.
That would lead to the A.
F sharp, E7 leads to A, yeah. F
B7
sharp 7
to the E.
F sharp 7 to B.
Okay.
G7 to C, 5 of 4, which is the blues, right? The A7 to D, which is every single pop song up until like the 50s has the 2 dominant. You know what I mean?
Okay, but why does 2 dominant sound good? Because
that's exactly what I'm telling you.
But that's the 5 of 5.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, but
or 5 of, yeah, exactly.
But what's the only difference between if
5 of 5, 5 of 6, 5
but
of
3, if A7 has a what in it?
A7 has C sharp.
Okay, but where does that C sharp come from? Why can you do that? It comes
from D.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the leading tone.
It's 1-4-5.
I mean, yeah.
But that's my point.
It's either 1-4-5 major or 1-4-5 minor. That's why we're throwing the 7th out the window.
Okay, I disagree. No minor 1.
I mean, well, you're saying 1-4-5. If we overlay it, it's that same relationship. So you're saying like there's no 1. I know that the word minor 1 is where you go. Okay, that's where I officially.
I don't know. I just feel like that.
Right. 5 minor, 1 minor. No. That is where we draw the goddamn line, right? Everything else can actually kind of be minor, but except 1. Let's make sure that's clear, okay? That's the one where we cannot have that be a minor 30. But that's what I'm saying where it comes from. All of those sounds have the secondary dominant available, and they're used 1,000 times, and that's why it sounds good to just do chromaticism, because we're taking these dominants from all these different places, and we're saying, hey, they all can lead to here. I think about like Sophisticated Lady. Mm-hmm. Like the way they use chromaticism to lead certain places with the dominance.
100%.
That was like very. And then Duke Ellington did that quite a bit with his like dominant stuff, and then Monk took that obviously. So it's like I don't know, man. I just think, I don't know. I think it's just like you kind of just make up the rules to what sounds good for the composition you're doing. But I definitely see your point. Like, I see your point with like how those relate. But that's, to me, that's where the secondary is dominant. Like, that's a certain function. And the other thing we have to remember is all these guys were like listening to classical guys.
Right.
They're listening to the records they get that they could have access to.
Right.
You know, Monk was on Chopin and like, you know, Debussy, like whatever he could listen to.
Right.
He was studying them too. Mm-hmm. So they weren't like.
I mean, it's not like they had.
Then he was also like, oh, what's all the stride guys doing? Like,
right.
You know, all the, you know, Earl Hines, like everyone he listened to. So like, there was already a lot of stuff out there. They weren't just coming up with it like.
Right. In a vacuum. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
you
I
know?
get you.
So that's the other thing is you have to keep in mind that, and I think that's the thing people stress out about this with is like, they're like, you don't get to write the rules of how you like this has been like all these guys were way before you call. No, you don't get to do this.
I know, dude. It's so funny.
You're just like, hey, all I hear you saying is no minor one, glory.
They get so mad, dude.
But yeah, what I will say to you guys is, look, if you don't know Louis personally, he's really not that bad, y'all. He's not that bad. All right, he's not that bad. He's a swell guy.
Oh man, you're hilarious, dude.
But yeah, I remember us playing like when I very first called you to play on my gig. Remember, it was like I remember arranged these like Miles Davis.
Yeah, I remember
like electric stuff. I had.
It was downtown.
Yeah, it was. It was downtown. This is probably like 2012 or like 2011.
It was a while ago.
And I had like a little like I think it was like trombone, like
it was like alto or something,
maybe tenor and like trumpet and rhythm section. I was playing keyboards, you were playing guitar. I had a rhythm section, and we're playing these Miles Davis arrangements that I had written actually, because I loved that electric music so much.
Right.
And at that time, I felt like I was figuring out this whole minor, like, because Miles Davis would have these bass lines that weren't minor or major,
right?
And they were like just taken from both, and then they would play over it like everything.
Yeah, you'd be in all these different worlds.
Yeah, you know, and it's like superimposing all these different harmonies. So like I started in that, like that's kind of where I was at like 10 plus years ago. So this is all just like full circle. And then like gospel music was like really like, oh, why are they playing minor stuff and we're in major? Like, you know, it's just like, So we're just trying to make sense of it, you know, and that's why we spend hours talking about this stuff that most people never ever think about, this type of stuff. You know, when I think about non-musicians, they're not at all concerned with any of how this works. Yeah, you know, they're just like, it sounds good, doesn't sound good. Hey, you play great, that's it. Like, it's so, you know, like no one's digging deep like this. So that's why we get to geek out, and you know, we're fortunate we get to talk about it. But at the same time, we can't lose sight of just make great music. Just have fun with it. Like, that's what I learned from Kenny Werner. Like, don't stress out. Don't beat yourself up. Look at it like a hobby that you're just fortunate you get to do. And if you're fortunate enough to get paid to play music, just keep it up, you know? Like, just keep going, because it's not easy.
Well, and honestly, man, that's where I kind of got this from, is like from playing at the church gig, which changed my life. Playing with those guys, the way they talk and hear music is totally different. Right. And totally the same. It's both. Yeah. You know, it's blues, dude. Like, you're in two worlds at once. It's like this, you know, and the thing is that like, for me, it's like people online like, oh, well, you're just trying to be right. You're just a troll, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's cool and all, but it's like, you're missing the point. Like, I'm just into this shit. It's fun for me. Like, you know, and this is what really single-handedly has helped me. And then it's like, people are like, well, you're no minor one's clickbait. I'm like, bro, it's just what I thought in my head. Like, if that's clickbait, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
no, man. I mean,
I'm over here giving out free lessons, basically. I got videos for hours.
Look, you're doing a great service for those people who actually are you know, open-minded, you know, but you can't control how people react. I know. You know what I mean? That's the main thing. But just have fun with it. You know, and I know you do. And don't take anything personal that people say. You know, I remember years ago when the whole, like, even before the whole COVID stuff, like years ago, I had some like very controversial opinions, takes. I always do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember one time I went viral on Facebook for, I think at the time I was talking about Epstein. I was talking about Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and how they worked for the Israeli government.
So like back before all this came out.
Yes, I talked about it, and it was,
and they thought it was
after he died. It was like shortly after he was like suicided, died, whatever. And I was talking about how Ghislaine Maxwell's father worked for the Israeli Mossad,
right?
You know, their version of the CIA, and how she was essentially doing the same thing he was doing, which was running this like international blackmailing operation. But she was actually like, she had a submarines license, so she was actually transporting kids, like, you know, trafficking them all over the world. Like, how did they get to the island, right? If they didn't all fly on there, right? Well, she had a submarines license. She was going underneath, you know, deep waters to transport these kids all over the world.
That's crazy.
Not only her. I mean, I'm surprised more people don't know about this, because to me, it's like, I knew about this over 10 years ago, or like however long ago it was, 8 years ago, whatever. And so now, obviously, now it's all coming out. But when at the time,
Alex is no minor one.
But at the time. But at the time when I was talking about this and just literally being like, oh, yeah, they worked for Israeli Mossad, and it wasn't even too much of a secret, because there's a bunch of videos and images of Jeffrey Epstein with like people in the Israeli government who would stay at his place in New York, or like they were publicly like, and this is after he had already been convicted by the FBI. Okay, so it's crazy. Not like people didn't know he was a sex offender. It was like he was already registered, like, you know what I mean? But I was talking about this and people came at me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Crazy.
Oh, I'm sure, bro.
They called me so many different things, pretty much, you know, conspiracy theorists.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
Pretty much just like being like, okay, you pretty much like, you got this from Trump, or like, you know, like making some weird association of things I was not
that
talking
even
about.
Before the whole Trump thing?
This was probably like,
it's been a while now. I forget, like,
because you got to think he was in for 4 years,
and then he was out for 4 years. That's 8 years right there.
Then and now it's like, so yeah, it's like about 10 years.
Wow.
It was around that time probably.
Wow.
And then even before that, it was like, I don't remember the timeline, but anyways, it was like, people are still very, you know, divided and divisive about anything related to Trump, but it was even like way more so back then. Right. And people just went crazy, and I literally was just telling the truth. Like, hey, you can go look this up. I'm sorry to be the one to break the news to you.
There's no minor what.
I mean, look, in your world, everything now is no matter what. Right? But essentially, what do you mean by that is you're going against the public perception.
Yeah, it's not what it seems.
Yeah, you're going against the public narrative, and you know, it's kind of like Plato's cave or something. It's like you tell people the Earth is round back when everyone thinks it's flat, and it's like, you're crazy. You're hang 'em, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. So,
I mean, that's one of the analogies I give online is like, oh, you're wrong. I'm like, guys, I don't know what to tell you, and this probably pisses people off too, but I say, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the Earth's round. It goes around the sun. It may appear like the sun goes around the Earth from where you are. It may appear like it's minor one, but zoom out. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're arguing me with this on your phone that's going to space and back and proving my point. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Well, people hate that too. I already know, because it has that little sense of like, a little bit of that condescension, like superiority, like
right
now.
I can see that.
I know you're joking, like I know it's lighthearted, but for people who don't know,
right?
They
I
might
get you.
Take it like, oh, who does this guy who think he is?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, but I hope people actually dig deeper and realize that it's not that deep. I mean, it's not that deep in the sense of like, we're not personally insulting who you are, even though people with their belief systems, they take things personally if they feel like you're challenging their belief system of who they think they are, how they perceive themselves.
So, well, you know what's ironic? I don't know if it's ironic, but it's interesting in the sense that like I feel like the most pushback and to be honest, overall, like most people are kind of into it, whether they agree or not. It's more of just like, oh, that's interesting. Like, what? Like, it's really nothing really. You just tend to see all the negative stuff easily. You know, it's easier to kind of focus on
Oh,
that.
100% because
It's interesting because I do have to say that I feel like the people that are the most receptive to it are like people that didn't go to school for that long or never went to school.
That's very true. I can see that.
And then the people that are the most resistant to it and get offended the most or think I'm crazy are like the people that like are like the most educated. Yeah.
Like they're like, I know I spent 10, 12 years
that
studying
can't be
this.
right.
Like you can't be like you don't know more than all these other people I studied with.
Yeah, and I'm like,
whoever.
guys, I hate to break it to you, but I did the same thing. Like I know where you're coming from. Like it's like they forget that I am like in that world.
Yeah.
Like
you also studied this for a long time.
Yeah, like it's like
you've been doing this as well. Yeah. Everyone's gonna have their perception and their opinion, but you know, I just think also it's just with the internet too. People are so like, people all have this, especially on social media. People have this like veil of anonymity, I guess,
right?
Or they just feel safe saying things they would never say to you in person.
100%.
You know, and that's part of it too, and that's just part of the internet. You know, we all comment whatever we think is the funniest, or you know, whatever we have. You know, people comment all types of crazy stuff all day, but you got to kind of take that into consideration. Like, you know, people are just gonna say whatever. You know, but hopefully, you know, you're getting people to think differently. That's the main thing. Like, hey, whether or not you'll never see the world again. No matter,
I say that too. They don't like that either.
No matter
they don't like
you
that.
Agree or disagree, you're welcome.
You'll never
now.
forget
I've
me.
Changed your life.
You're always gonna have a split second. Wait, is this 1 or 6? Or wait a second, is this crazy guy right?
It's so true though, man. It's so true. It's like watch them go reanalyze everything. Like
they do, bro.
Moonlight Sonata. It's like, oh shit. This whole time I thought it was in C sharp minor. Oh shit, we're in E major this whole time.
I mean, the thing is, bro, is that I know what that feels like. Like it's like they think like I've always known this. Like I've lived. My life was a lie for a long time. I was living the lie.
That's crazy though. But did it? They say ignorance is bliss. Like, wouldn't you rather just not know? Just
That's funny.
I'm joking.
Hey, well, we got to go to this gig, but before we leave, why don't you tell if anyone's made it this far in the interview? Why don't we talk about your album you just released?
Oh man, honestly, I don't even want to talk about it. To be honest, we could end on.
All right,
it's the type of thing where like, y'all, let's go listen to it, check it out. I pretty much recorded it all. I produced it. It's about like the different themes of like being a Libra, like justice, balance. But essentially what it was like I had these songs on my computer for 2 to 3 years. The longest one was like 2 to 3 years. And it's just like, you get to a point where you remix these songs so many times, you work on it so long, and it's like, okay, I need to get it out there. Right. I can't be the only one listening to this, you know? Right. And I just kind of actually had the deadline that I missed by almost a year because my computer crashed, so I had to redo.
Oh yeah, I saw you battling your I was watching.
About a year ago, at the end of last year,
you had to like get the hard drive or something.
I had to replace my motherboard.
Okay, that's what it was.
So with that, it's everything has to.
Oh, you basically got a new computer.
Yeah, you know, essentially it's like a new computer, new operating system. So then I had to. Luckily, I had my old files. I had transferred those projects over, and then when I opened up those projects, all the plugins I had were not.
Oh, they
working.
Didn't. Oh,
so
I see. So you had to start from scratch again.
Essentially, like I had the tracks, and I had the edits in place and things, but I got to rebuild all the chains, all the every single sound. I'm redoing like in certain ways. You know, luckily I still had my vocals. I still had a lot of things, but yeah. So that delayed the project about another year. But I'm really happy with how it came out. You know, it really was like. I'm more happy that I put it out and it's done, and now I can promote it and tell people. Like I was actually filming for a video earlier today for one of the songs. But yeah, y'all just listen to it. You know, it's not like everyone's cup of tea. I know it really was me trying to continue to evolve my sound of like making hip hop music, trap music, and like making music for like people who are smoking weed, going to the club, or like, you know, a different kind of a vibe, you know, who want to maybe go into the gym, want to get pumped up. It's not like intellectual jazz music. Like probably my next album is going to be a spiritual jazz album. So for that one, it's going to be totally different vibe.
Right.
But no, it really was just like a labor of love. I'm really happy I put it out there. Some of the songs I've been getting good feedback on, and one song, like I never ever like put too much money behind my music like on a release before. I usually just put it out and share it. But this time I actually tried to invest in like playlists, promotion stuff. And the one song I did called Libra Vision, it got put on way different playlists than I would ever think. From like techno to like dance to like hip hop playlists. So, I would definitely tell anyone like I feel like we could just do a whole podcast on this, producing music, releasing music, and like strategies and stuff like that. But I would definitely tell people to like put money aside and put money into advertising, Meta ads, Google ads, TikTok. Definitely try to have a budget, because making music is only one part of the equation now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And unless you have a label or something like that that's specifically in charge of marketing your stuff, you have to think about how you're gonna, not only put money to make the music or invest in the equipment so you can make the music, but also market it. So that's kind of the phase I'm in right now,
Cool.
But yeah, that's like an overview, man. Y'all listen to it. It's called Libra Tales. It's out now on all platforms.
Okay, cool. Sweet, man. All right, bro.
It.
Well, thanks for coming to rant.
Yeah, man. I actually wanted to get to other topics, but this one is just so dominating. But
we'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tried, y'all. I tried, man. It's hard to dethrone the king. I'm gonna be honest, man. It's hard to dethrone the king, especially in his own lair. I came out here. No, but
oh man,
it's whatever you want it to be, man. That's the main takeaway. It's whatever you want to call it. Call it anything, like Miles Davis said.
No, it's great, man. I love talking about this. At the end of the day, yeah, you just gotta play. But cool, man.
Don't sound bad.
All right, Alexander Anderson, go check out his stuff. Thanks for coming, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. Let's go put some of this No Minor One into action.
Yeah, we gotta go. We got a gig tonight, so we're gonna go get ready. We gotta check out some of these tunes. All right, man. Later, bro.
Peace.
No Minor One.
Symphonic funk of off-tone melodies and open-tone vibrations. It's life.